The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now, from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here are your hosts of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard and Taylor Welch.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for August 28th, 2025. This is season 15, episode number 3, and episode number 517 in the long-running podcast. It is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everybody. I am Bob Howard. Of course, she is Taylor Welch. Taylor, welcome back. How's it going? I know you've had a fun-filled day and maybe even a fun-filled week, and you're probably just happy to be sitting down talking hockey now.
I feel like this has been the longest week ever, which is, it's good and bad because it's starting to cool down, so it's not so hot out, but at the same time, it's just this week. It's not one thing, it's another, it seems like. Oh, no, I absolutely, totally understand that. It has felt cooler out there, which is kind of nice, which is pretty cool. Obviously, this is going to be like a news-filled episode of the Power Play Post Show. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm doing something for the first time this year. I've actually talked to somebody with the Booster Club, Taylor. I've never done that before. Now, I've known people that have been a part of the Booster Club, but I've never actually talked to somebody from a Booster Club here on the Power Play Post Show, no matter what team we're talking about. But this is the first time, so that'll be very interesting. We were in the Booster Club, not this past year, but the year before. We just didn't have time to get there this year, or this past season, I should say. Yeah. I don't know if we'll get there this season or not, but it's a lot of fun to go to them.
Yeah, and, going to the meetings, there's obviously players that are there. You can ask players questions. I'm sure Jeremy swooned over Connor McAnanima that first season, right?
I don't remember if Connor was ever there for any of the times that we were at the meetings.
Really?
I know we sat with Weebs a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Good guy.
But he's a lot of fun. He's
a trip, right? He's definitely a trip.
And he's so nice because no matter how many people are sitting at the table with you, he takes the time to talk to every single person at the table.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's just the way he's raised. He's from Minnesota. Obviously, there was some breaking news earlier today. There was shooting in Minnesota at a school, church type of religious school. It's always hard to hear that kind of stuff, especially when it involves children or just shootings at all that involve children is really kind of crazy. So, from the Power Play Post Show, we're thinking about you guys out there in Minnesota, and especially the Weebs family who are out there close to Minneapolis, actually, where this happened. So we're thinking about you guys. So if you're listening at all over the next few days, we're thinking about you, hoping you guys and everybody that you guys know are okay. But that's just the kind of stuff that's going on and whatnot. But Taylor, we're only a few weeks away. I mean, if you think about it, we're only like 4 weeks away from the start of training camps all throughout pro hockey. It's so very close, and there's always this anticipation. There's always this excitement coming into it. But the Black Bears have had a different kind of anticipation because, this year, like last year, they're leading up to the raise of a banner, right? And celebrating a championship one last time before the hard work begins to start a new season. What are your thoughts about the home opener? To me, it's the most important game when you're raising a banner. You got to win that game. I know I've made that totally clear. What are your thoughts about leading into, training camp and then, of course, that opening night?
I think the opening night is important, but I also think just the mindset overall, going into training and coming into the season, if they start off with the mindset that they've had all throughout last season, that's obviously the winning mindset that they need. They all seem very disciplined, and I know many of the guys, Steve talks about it all the time, that Connor hasn't quite come out of that mindset. Like, he's constantly training or playing games, and he's constantly working on himself, and I'm sure all the other guys are doing the same thing. So I just think if they come into the training, I know that there's some spots to be filled, and I'm sure there's guys that are going to be fighting for some of those spots. And I think if you come in with the right mindset, that's what you need.
Yeah, 100%. And but my hope is they all had and found time to have fun and relax this summer as well, because it is a long season. Even in a shorter FPHL season, you make it through the playoffs, you go into the championship, you win a championship. Even though these guys continue to do it as efficiently as possible, only losing one game in the last 15 tries. So only one loss in the last two sets of playoffs. You still need to step back and maybe relax and have a little fun as well.
I don't disagree, but I also think that these guys have such a love for the game that their relaxing might just be to stay in the mindset of playing hockey. I mean, if you looked at Tyson and Oliveri and Sherwood all played in a game together, and all the guys seem still pretty well connected throughout the summer. So I think it's nice to see that, but I think they all kind of keep the mindset all year long.
So you think
I don't know how much relaxing they actually do.
Yeah. So you think that if they're in their element, which is lacing up the skates, putting the sticks down, that it's almost like when people say, I'm not really working because I love what I do.
Yeah, I think so. I think for most of these guys, like, this team to them is just like a whole nother family to them. And you can tell that on the ice and off the ice, and even like throughout the off season, that they are just so well connected to one another that I think their love for the game, I think it's just what they love to do, and it shows.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. I like it. All right. The Power Play Post Show is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search for Power Play Post Show and become part of the community. Be sure to like, comment, and share our latest episodes with your friends. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net, your go-to source for stats, history, and all things Binghamton Hockey. And coming up on this episode of the Power Play Post Show, from the Binghamton Hockey Booster Club, Laurie-Ann Platt, and the long-awaited interview with Dylan Konecny. Okay, so Taylor, you know what's going on with Dylan. I've already, kind of informed you of that situation, and the fans are going to hear it here in just a little bit, that Dylan is accepting a position with the Bridgeport Islanders, which is the AHL affiliate of, obviously, the New York Islanders. Now, we just found out earlier today that, the T's have been crossed, the I's have been dotted, and Dylan will be on his way, obviously, to Bridgeport, Connecticut. He's going to be in the AHL as the head equipment manager. This, to me, is the best thing that can come out of this week for the Fed and the Binghamton Black Bears. I hope it's celebrated. I know the Black Bears on Thursday, as fans are probably listening to this on Thursday, are going to listen to this. They're going to see an announcement, probably a celebration from the Black Bears for Dylan. He is beloved on the team. He's beloved in the organization. He's beloved within the hockey community. I see this being such a great thing for not only for the Black Bears, not only for Dylan, but also for the FPHL as well, because he has been here for the last few years, and now he's making that mark. And those are the type of things that the FPHL kind of should be able to celebrate, which is someone like him going from the Fed up to Bridgeport. Now, of course, Aiden, who has been his understudy a little bit for the past year, will take his place. But still, losing Dylan is a big thing. He's really good at what he does.
Yeah, I think that this is absolutely great for Dylan, and I think that he definitely deserves it. I feel like unless you've actually watched what he does or talked to him about what he does and what he does for other teams, I feel like some people might not quite understand like the full job of an equipment manager, and that it might not be this major role. But he's the glue that keeps this team together, if you ask me. I mean, from the stories of when they did their 3 nights and where they did, I think it was 2 out in Michigan, and then they came back to the Elmira game, and he stayed up all night to make sure that they had dry gloves and clean uniforms and everything.
Yeah.
To helping other teams out when they come to our arena. If they don't have something, he's right there to help them. He's hands down amazing. And I think the league definitely should celebrate this.
Yeah, this is a big deal. Dylan obviously was part of the equipment management team for the Binghamton Devils when they were here. And he learned a lot from them guys. And then when he had the opportunity to become the head equipment manager here in Binghamton for the Black Bears, that was obviously a great opportunity for him. But he talks about in this interview that people are going to get to hear that it was important for him. It was important for him to be here in Binghamton, even though it was the Fed, because to him, this is a professional organization. This isn't just a Fed team. This is a professional organization that has trained him and gotten him ready for his next step. And yeah, maybe 2 years ago, he could have gone to the SP. Maybe a year ago, he could have found a job in the ECHL, but he didn't feel he needed to. He felt that this organization, Andreas, Brant Sherwood, and the players that were here were so professional, and this was the right place for him to kind of fine-tooth his all of his tools, sharpen his tools, so to speak, using those puns there to be ready to go to the next level. And not only is he working for the New York Islanders, yes, it's going to be in Bridgeport, obviously, but, you know, I mean, he's even told me that there are special perks that he's going to be getting that's in his contract when it comes to, the New York Islanders situation. If they make the playoffs, good things are going to happen for Dylan. So this is a great thing for Dylan, his family, Darren, and obviously baby Tay. I'm very happy for these guys. I'm going to miss Dylan. Dylan is one of those guys that I can text at any moment. He's a Binghamton guy. There's a lot of love here between him and I. So I'm going to miss him, but I'm very happy for him at the same time.
I think that's kind of how the whole fan base is going to feel, is that everyone's going to be very happy for him, but also very much miss him.
Without a doubt. And I know, Aiden, if you're listening to this, Aiden, and I know you're probably going to, you need to play every Thursday, the Power Play Post Show there in the equipment room, because that's what Dylan always did. Don't break the streak, because if you do and we don't win a championship, might be on you, buddy. Just saying. And we'll get Aiden here on the show as well. All right. So that's great for Dylan. You're going to hear that interview in just a little bit here on the Power Play Post Show. But let's talk a little bit about the Booster Club. So, we're going to have Laurie-Ann Platt on as well to talk about the golf tournament that's coming up. Why is the Booster Club so important? And Taylor, I'm going to get your thoughts after I read through some of the stuff that I have here. I want to get your thoughts because, being a part of the Booster Club, I've never been a part of the Booster Club here in Binghamton. I will admit that freely. You can give us a little bit of insight. Why is the Booster Club so important? Providing essentials to the players, with the players making little to no money, though the salary cap has increased for this upcoming season. It's getting better. The Booster Club is essential to the survival of teams and players. Another way for the fans and the players to engage with each other and support. And I've got 5 things here that I'm going to read off. They promote and support the sport of hockey in the greater Binghamton area. It's something that they're very proud of. They don't just take care of the Black Bears. They partner with the STHA and with with their 50-50 to support the organization, which is very, very important. If people don't know what that is, the STHA is the Southern Tier Hockey Association, so all of your youth hockey falls generally underneath that. They provide financial support for the team or the players so they can focus on the responsibilities of training and playing the sport they love and their fans love to watch. They are amazing members of that find ways to support the team and other teams when they are in time of need. Okay, so when a player needs something, if somebody needs something, the Booster Club is usually there for them. And number 5, they show up for the team in any way they need. They supply them with local contracts or local contacts for anything they need, including car service or local favorite restaurants. They help there. Taylor, your thoughts on the Booster Club? You were a part of it, 2 years ago, like you said. Talk a little bit about what you think the importance of the Booster Club is.
I think they're a huge asset and a huge help to the team. Aside from just the support part of it, if you go to a meeting, it's pretty quick, in my opinion. I mean, they talk their numbers that they have to do and stuff.
Yeah.
They talk about like what they're going to be doing or where the next option or the next thing on the list, like they're going to tackle, or the next thing they're putting money towards. They'll talk about that and a couple other things. And then whatever players are there, they get them all together and sit them at the table, and they go one by one, and the players introduce themselves, they'll talk a little bit, and then they kind of like open it up like a question. So if you have a question, you throw your hand up, you can ask, the players will answer. You can either ask a certain player, you can ask all of them. It's a great way to just on another level get to know the players in such intimate detail, where it's, they're 5 feet in front of you and you're just sitting here talking to them. And then afterwards, they usually have food provided, and the players will go through, and then you'll sit down and you'll just talk and eat and just hang out until everybody starts to leave. The meetings, they're a lot of fun, especially just getting to know the players and getting to know a little more in depth about them. Aside from that, the way that the players will get together and they'll make a list of things that they either need for the apartments or supplies they're running low on, and they will reach out, and then the Booster Club either makes the Amazon list, which was kind of new this past year, or they'll just make a post in general. And a lot of people come together and they figure out, like, if they need furniture, they figure out a way to get it up here to them in a safe and timely manner.
When the AHL was here, the Booster Club was, obviously very strong. This is one of the oldest booster clubs as well that is in minor pro hockey. This booster club is the same booster club that was here for the Broom Dusters. They change the name every once in a while, depending on what team is here or whatever. But for the most part, this is the same booster club that's been here since the early 70s. The Hershey Bears have an older booster club. The Rochester Americans booster club is a little bit older. There's a few others in the minor league hockey system that are a little bit older than the Binghamton Hockey Booster Club. But for the most part, very important. But to even go a little bit further here, the AHL has always paid their players a little bit more. And one of the things I was talking about with Laurie-Ann, and I think this is so very important, is that the Booster Club is even more important now than they ever were. And maybe it was the same thing during the Iceman days, because those players probably got paid, less as well than the AHL. The Booster Club doing the things that they do today for the Black Bears players, and really want to emphasize how important they are to helping the players, with anything that they need. It's probably more important now than it ever was, even with the AHL, just because of, the state of the salaries of the FPHL players. And that's not a knock on Andreas or the Binghamton Black Bears or the organization. It's just a fact. It's just the way it is. And I think the Booster Club is very, very important right now for that.
Yeah, I think the Booster Club it's a huge deal, and I think it means a lot to these players as well.
Yeah. So we'll talk with Laurie-Ann Platt a little bit later on here in the show. But let's get into the signings because, of course, since we last talked, 2 more signings.
Alrighty. So the Black Bears re-signed Darian Benčić. The Binghamton Black Bears are proud to announce the forward Darian Benčić has signed a PTO contract ahead of training camp this fall. Benčić had a short stint with the Black Bears this past season. He was a rookie collegiate signee that appeared in 4 games last season. In his debut, he recorded 1 assist. Prior to his arrival last season, Benčić played 5 seasons at Lebanon Valley College in Annville, PA. Across 5 seasons with the Dutchman, he appeared in 104 games. He recorded 22 goals, 40 assists, and was a 4-year teammate of Blake Tosto. Benchich is a native of Dover, PA, and before his time at LVC, played 3 seasons at Westminster Prep and 2 years with the New England Generals 18U AAA.
Yeah, I think we saw, 4 games of him during the regular season. And again, college is so very important to Brant Sherwood. He wants guys to make sure that they finish up their collegiate career, more important than anything else. He understands the importance that some of these guys are not going to do what, maybe Brant Sherwood did, which is go into coaching, stay in hockey, and start to make a living in that sense. So he wants to make sure. So he played 4 games. He finished up hockey. He finished up his college. Now he's coming back. And so I think it's important to hopefully see what he does in training camp and see if he makes the team.
Yeah, I don't think that we saw enough of him last year, so I'm excited to see what we get out of him this year for a full season.
So, Taylor, before you read the next section, okay, I want to say that not only did we sign a new defenseman on Tuesday, we're going to sign another new defenseman on Thursday. So as people are listening to this, you probably either have seen or you're going to see another rookie defenseman get signed. And not that Brant Sherwood listens to me, but I was a little concerned about the defense, right? Knowing a couple of the things that I knew, I was like, man, I hope we get a couple more defensemen. So when it's all said and done, at the end of this, you'll read how many defensemen and what defensemen are going to be here. I think we're going to have a nice little crop that are going to be able to battle for either all 6 of the defenseman positions, so to speak, or the extra defenseman that might get, be here. There's going to be competition for those last 3 spots, defenseman wise. But go ahead and read about Chandler.
All right. So as Bobby had mentioned, we signed a defensiveman, Chandler Lynch. The Binghamton Black Bears are proud to announce the signing of Chandler Lynch to a PTO agreement for training camp entering the 2025-26 season. Lynch is the first new signee defensiveman to agree to terms this offseason. Lynch is a 22-year-old from Woodbridge, Virginia. He played his collegiate hockey at the ACHA level, beginning at the University of Delaware and finishing his final 3 years at George Mason University. In those 4 years, Lynch appeared in 101 games, recording 6 goals and 19 assists. The rookie defenseman adds a right-handed shot to the Black Bears' arsenal and stands at 6 foot and 185 pounds.
All right, so the signed defensemen now for the Black Bears, we have 6 of them. Jesse Anderson, Dan Stone, Dan Weber, Cam Servone. Luke Dobles finished up the end of last year. He was a rookie college signee, and now we have Chandler Smith. And again, as I mentioned, a 7th defenseman rookie will be announced on Thursday, or as you're listening to this, probably already announced, along with options like Emerson Emery and Scott Romakers. Now, Emery is already signed. He's listed as a forward. He played defenseman, but I like the fact that now Brant Sherwood is going to see a competition in training camp and have options.
Yeah, I think training camp is going to be interesting, and I think it'll be fun to see who kind of beats out the other.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. All right, Blake Tasto signed with the Knoxville Ice Bears. I want to talk a little bit about the impacts of signing Blake and for Binghamton. Obviously, his vision, even after the championship and I talked to Blake, his vision was to go and play in the SPHL. Now, last year he played for Pensacola. This year he's going to go into the camp with Knoxville. Doesn't mean he can't sign and play here in Binghamton. He can. Obviously, we hold his rights. But I'm going to be frank for a second. Instead of being Bob, I'm going to be Frank. No. But I want to say this. When someone keeps choosing somebody else, there's going to be a point in time that maybe that person, I don't want to say isn't welcomed, but maybe you're not going to be the first priority. And, if you think playing in the SPHL is going to get you to the ECHL quicker, that's fine. That's your decision and everything. I love Blake. He's a great guy. I mean, he's a great Midwestern guy. but that's what he's thinking. But you also got to think about what this means for Binghamton, right? Binghamton has to put together a first line, a second line. Well, we already know what the first line is going to be, right? They got to put together a second line and a third line and a 10th forward, and roll that out every single week and win games. And maybe Blake doesn't see himself as a part of that, and that's possible. I wish him well. I hope he does well. I hope to have him back on the show again. I know he's, and I've been frank with him about stuff like this. I talked to him. I said, listen, I think you're having a full season in Binghamton might better serve you to get to the ECHL. We'll see. I think Brant Sherwood's going to get 3 to 5 guys called up to the ECHL this upcoming season. I truly believe that. There are people looking at him. And so to me, I just wanted to throw that out there. We might see Blake this year. We might not. And that's absolutely fine.
I agree with what you're saying. Mostly because if you look, I like to compare like how we played last season. Even with the call-ups, they didn't last for very long. It was maybe a game, maybe a couple of games, and then, they came back. But for the most part, our team stayed pretty solid all season long. Like, we didn't have a lot of people coming and going. We didn't have, we had 1 or 2 here and there, maybe. But I feel like in his defense, like, I'm happy if that's what he wants to do, but as our side of it, you want a team that's, they've played together, they've trained together, they've done this, week in and week out the entire season. They know what they're doing. Yeah. Instead of, he comes in right at the last second and now he's got to play the last 15 games to make it, eligible playoff. Yeah. So I see what you're saying and I get it. And I hope he figures it out and kind of, if that's where he wants to stay, then, stay there or try to stay there.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where my point of this is, at some point when you're second choice, if you know what I'm saying, and I get it, it's a level thing. There are people that still think the SPHL is a level above, and that's fine. It's truly, truly fine if that's what you think. I think it's getting so much closer now that it doesn't really matter. And, with the salary cap going up and more money to be made here in the Fed now than ever before, I think that starts to even the playing field a little bit as well. So, but it's a great topic. It's something that we can talk about in the future. There was also another signing from a former Black Bear playing in the ECHL. Do you want to tell everyone who that was?
Are we talking about Matthew Boylard?
Of course.
Well, you mentioned it earlier in the show. That's why I was asking.
Did I know? Did I mention it?
I thought you did. I thought you mentioned it.
I think you and I talked about it before we started recording.
Oh, I thought you mentioned it in the beginning of the show because I thought you talked about we had a lot to talk about, and I thought it was one of the first things you said.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, Matthew Boylard, who obviously big part of the first 3 seasons of the Binghamton Black Bears for sure, gets re-signed in ECHL, and I think that's a success story if you think about it. Where he started, playing in the Fed, and now has another opportunity to play in the ECHL. Again, these are all the improvements that the Fed is making that I think the Binghamton Black Bears and Brant Sherwood have really brought to the table, right? And they have, kind of really excelled that process where the ECHL can look at a guy who's played in the Fed for a few years and say, hey, this is the guy we want on their team. The ECHL does have fighting. They still have, I don't want to say an enforcer role, but they are looking for a guy like Bullard who can play good defense and also maybe drop the gloves and protect a player or two. So I think this is a very good thing for Adirondack. I want to thank Rob Lapoulos for giving me the heads up this morning, letting me know that Mathieu was going to be signed. They announced that at 2:00, and he called me a little bit earlier in the day to let me know that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Thanks for Rob for telling me that. Again, I get all the inside stuff. If you're nice to people, Taylor, they'll tell you stuff. They really do.
I know. I always feel like I'm late to the party. You always know something before I do.
Yeah, I know. But a lot of stuff I can't tell people, right? It's like I can't express it. I do want to throw one more thing out. I did tell you there's a really big signing for the Black Bears next Tuesday. So very excited about it. I think the fans are going to be really kind of pleased about it once they see it and they kind of look at the guy's numbers and the things he's done. So there's a nice little signing that's going to happen next Tuesday. I hope everybody has a great holiday weekend. When we get to this weekend every year, you know that hockey is literally really, really close.
Yeah, I sorry, I was focused on getting my computer set up.
Uh-oh.
I lost it for a moment, but we're all good now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, I kind of mentioned this off air, but this time of the year, it just seems like we're getting down to the nitty gritty and everything starts to get a little more exciting and just kind of, I think everyone starts to get that itch a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I know I have the itch already, especially when we get the cool air out there. I'm very excited about it. All right, so coming up next year on the Power Play Post Show, he was the Binghamton Black Bears head equipment manager, and now he's just a trader as a New York Rangers fan, and now he's going to work for the Islanders. I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to look him straight in the face again, but I am super happy for him. But coming up next year on the Power Play Post Show is our good friend, Dylan Konecny. We'll be right back, right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers. Hi, this is Brandon Buczynski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. I am sitting here in the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena in the locker room right now, and I've got a very special guest sitting next to me, and we'll talk to him in just a few seconds, but he's got some exciting news to kind of like talk about a little bit, and might be a tearjerker kind of news to some of the fans, but either way, it's a very good thing. He is now a two-time Commissioner's Cup equipment manager champion, and I think one of your family members gave me the smaller version of this shirt that I'm wearing right now. He is, of course, the greatest in the FPHL equipment manager of all time, Dylan Konecny. Dylan, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you on.
Thanks, Bob. Glad to be back.
Yeah, I think it was your sister, maybe, or somebody that is familiar with you. A championship night, you guys win the championship. I'm going around, I took pictures of you and the EQ team over here. There was a girl in there, I thought she said sister-in-law maybe.
My sister-in-law was Morgan, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she gives me one of these shirts that I'm wearing, the back-to-back championship shirts, and I go to put it on, it's a size small.
Yep.
And as you're looking at me, you might be able to fit in a size small.
Good.
I could not. I still put it on anyways, and there's pictures of it, and now it's just hanging in my studio. It's a memento. It very much is. Dylan, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
So 2 years now in a row, this team has won a championship. You've been a part of that. You've been part of some of the shenanigans, the stories that kind of can go along with what it is to be part of the Fed team. When you think back about these last two seasons, what really strikes you the most?
Just the friendships that I've gathered. Some of these guys in this locker room are the greatest human beings I've ever met. Like best friends, literally till the day I die. Doesn't matter where any of us end up. And just stories that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life, and going to have a lot of laughs looking back at some of them.
And the championships, being a part of Binghamton hockey legacy, right? Because that's something that I like to chronicle. I like to talk about a lot. What does it mean to you, being a native of this area, to be a part of Binghamton hockey legacy in that way?
Everything. I mean, coming back to this arena at some point, it's going to be great looking up at those banners and seeing that I was a part of it. And it's just everything. Growing up around here, we were just talking about Dennis Bonvie and all those guys. Like, to kind of put yourself in the same position as them, it's incredible.
Now, you started your journey doing the work that you're doing now with the Binghamton Devils, right? That was in the American Hockey League. Talk a little bit about what you learned in those 3 years that you worked closely with the equipment managers of that time, because it's kind of set you apart in the Fed in the sense of the things that you asked of the people who helped you, like Aiden and Jeets and guys like that, to what you might have expected going into an opponent's arena that maybe sometimes you didn't get. Talk a little bit about those 3 years with Devils and kind of what you learned from that.
Professionalism and hospitality. It's when you come to another person's arena, I don't want to say everything should be taken care of for you, but like you're the guests, right? Mm-hmm. So people probably don't know, but down at the visiting room, we'd make coffee for the other teams. You know, we had a cooler in there. We had everything. So they had ice cold waters. And when we go to other places, no hot water. Oh, showers, hot water. Yeah, we didn't get hot water all the time. But other places, you know, they take it as if it's just a Fed and there's no growing to it. You know what I mean? We talked about that earlier, to make the league better and everything.
You have to get better in those ways.
Yeah. So every team loved coming to Binghamton because they knew that they were going to get taken care of. And that's the one thing that it was in the Devils, you know, professionalism, everything set up the same way, even if it's the visiting room side. Just when those guys walk in the morning, doesn't matter if it's a visiting or home team, they just put their gear on and play hockey, you know. So, well,
because if anyone has watched your videos that you produce or helped shoot, and then I think somebody here produced those videos that you would release, you know, on game day, you know, the way you put the jerseys in the stalls, the way you set up the gloves and the skates for the guys, this is all stuff that you kind of learned in your first 3 years with the Devils, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything. The big thing with them was, you know, everything had to be the same, whether you're at home or you're on the road. So the way the locker room looked at home, I tried to mimic it as best as I possibly could on the road. So guys knew exactly where everything was. There was no looking for things. And just, you know, the way I fold the jerseys, it just makes, in my opinion, it makes the room just look better. Like that jersey's folded, the logo's front and center. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just everything has got to look perfect for it to be done and ready for the guys to come in.
Now, the one thing that is kind of subjective is sharpening skates, right? Well, why is that? Explain why it's a little subjective from player to player about sharpening skates. Do guys want different things?
Oh, yeah. Different hollows, they call it. So I probably had five or six guys, I think, skating on an inch hollow, which is super dull in that aspect. Okay. So they're gliding more on the ice, right? So the steel, you're getting more steel on the ice and you're not pushing in as much. So sometimes they feel like they're gliding across the ice, as in if you go to a half inch like Zach Sirota was doing, little guy, yep. You know, he's got to dig into those turns. So everywhere we go to, the ice is different, you know, harder ice. Some guys want it a little bit sharper. But it's all preference what the guys really want. And if they want it, we'll do it.
Who's the guy that complained the most about skates? Like the sharpening of the steel being like something that was so particular for them. Who's the one guy? I know people don't usually want to pick on anyone, but I'm not picking anyone. I just want to know who's the one guy that always dug at you a little bit about sharpening their skates.
Tyson.
Really?
I didn't sharpen him too much during the week. He also has 3 or 4 different sets of steel, so I would just rotate him if you needed him sharpened. But on game days, those things had to be absolutely perfect, not a single little blemish in them. And if there was, he'd let me know, and I'd do them again, and I would just be like, "Come on, Tyson! Like that, they're perfect, man. Trust me, they're perfect." So
now, do goaltenders and their steel matter at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay, explain how.
Both of our goalies. So Hapward and Mac skated at a half inch too, so super sharp. And same with Aggie, he was actually sharper than that. But
really,
they wanted some. They're all different too. Some
Aggie was barely on his skates; he's always on his ass or on his legs or on his side. Yes, exactly, the old school Dominic Hasek type. So, but he wanted sharp skates.
Yeah, and sometimes so I would sharpen them, and then we'd even hit him with a sweet stick, that's called, which really just kind of gives it a little bit extra, like bite to it almost. And that's just because they like feeling those edges when they push across. Now, not every goalie is the same. Some guys don't like that as much, but all three of ours really liked it sharp.
How important is it to, and we're joking about Tyson, yeah, he might have been a little particular and everything, but we're just picking. But how important is it as the head equipment manager to know the styles that every single player needs on his steel? How important is that?
I think it's very important. I mean, Gavin Yates, he's all edge work, right? I mean, he doesn't take very big strides. If you watch him, it's all, even the way he skates, he kind of shimmies a little bit. So, you know, he's got to have the full trust in me that his edges are perfect. And if they're not, you know, you're going to see him slipping and sliding all over the place because that's just the way, you know, he skates.
How often did you get to sharpen skates during the Devils years? Were you able to at all?
Not often. So they started showing me how to do it on my skates because obviously if I screwed them up, it was my skates and whatever. But I went on a road trip. I started getting pretty good at it. And I went on a road trip up to, we played Rochester on a Friday night and then Syracuse on a Saturday. So we went up, stayed in Syracuse, played the next night. And when we were in Rochester, Marion student each had to get his steel swapped out. So they handed me the pair that needed to be sharpened, and they were like, "Oh, just go put them on the sharpener. Like, we'll get them at the intermission." And as I was walking down the tunnel, one of my best friends, I consider him, Chris Murphy, popped his head back, and he was like, "You want to do them?" And I was like, yeah, sure. So I did them up, and when I brought him back, the first thing he did was he popped him in the guy's skates, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, here we go.
He didn't even look at him.
And he popped him in his skates, and he went out there and was flying around. So that was the only time I ever actually did it. But yeah, they got some trust in me towards the end.
How important has these last few years been for you to do this here in Binghamton?
So important. Just doing the job that I love and not having to leave my home, my family. That's been the most important part. You know, I've learned so much. I've asked questions to so many different equipment managers in the AHL, Division I, whatever, and just picking brains. You know, we went up to Syracuse a couple times, and I brought some gear up for them, and they showed me how to do some stuff. And yeah, just being home, it's been incredible.
Well, because obviously this past season, the Black Bears were on their way to win a championship. Someone had to take some time off from the Black Bears. Talk a little bit about starting your family. You guys are so cute together. I love all the pictures. But talk about what it's meant to also kind of go through a season where you have your first baby born.
It was tough. There was a lot of times missed, but it's also the greatest thing that's ever happened. Like, that day when she came, it was everything that I was thinking about. Like, the guys were leaving for a road trip to go to Michigan. Yeah. It's actually funny because we're at the hospital and nothing's really happening, and I'm just sitting there in the chair going, I got to go sharpen skates. Like, the guys are leaving for Michigan today. She was like, "No, it's fine. Just go. Like, nothing's happening. Go for an hour and a half. Like, you need it. Just go." So I came and I started doing all the skates, and that's when she went into labor.
And so you had to drive all the way back.
So I dropped what I was doing, and I was like, "Sorry, boys. Like, I got to go." You know, but I missed those 2 trips to Michigan to stay home. Yeah. But the next week or 2 weeks later, we went to Mississippi. So I had a 2-week-old baby at home, and I boarded a plane to go to Mississippi. And
how important is it when a family starts and you're in this business? It doesn't matter. You could be a player, a coach, equipment manager, to have the support that you have at home, because without her being understanding what this job is. I've gone on road trips to go to Rochester and Syracuse and to Manchester. I have sacrificed my evenings with my wife to do the Power Play Post Show multiple times. How important is it to have someone like that at home that understands this and supports you like that? It's
the number one thing. I mean, if you don't have that significant other that supports you through this, it's not going to work, or you're just going to be, stuck at work just doing your job. I mean, she has been so supportive through this. You know, I mean, like after we win, getting to see her, my little girl banging on the glass, like it's incredible. It's very hard. There's a lot of FaceTime, you know, calls late night when I get back from the rink to the hotel. And
yeah, because explain this to fans. When you come back from a road game or even after a home game, how late are you here?
Oh, home games, I'm not out of here till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes. If the other team is staying the night, you know, we'd have to do their laundry, so that's another hour on top of it. Same thing with road games. It's a little bit different. The guys leave, and it's not like we're at home. We have these nice stalls, and, you know, the guys hang them up properly. They just throw them in the middle of the floor and say, you know, Dill will get it. And so what we always start, we get the laundry, like, sorted through, and then we immediately go through and hang up everything, so it's perfect for the morning when we walk in.
Because everything's got to dry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like all the equipment that doesn't go into a washer and a dryer has to sit out and dry. So someone has to do that. And that's you and Jeets and Aiden and, you know, guys like that.
And most places aren't suited for that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we got locker rooms and stuff, but we have to bring our own fans, which is no big deal, but it's the heat. You know, you need heat to do it. Here in Binghamton, the visiting room's got a thermostat that'll crank up to 100 degrees and gear dries like that.
Right.
But when you go to other places, we're lugging 3 or 4 fans with us, getting those going, using the glove dryers. And
the point is, you sacrifice a lot of time away, especially when you have a baby girl. And that leads me to what we're going to talk about in just a few minutes and everything. And you have to have a good support system, not just at your home, but even your surrounding family needs to help her and help almost kind of like raise a child, right? Because that's part of this whole thing. And you've got a great family to do that, and she's got a great family to help her with that.
Yeah,
right?
we have so much support through here in Binghamton, so, you know, that's made it a lot easier. They attend a lot of the games here, so they're always coming to see me, and yeah, the support system is great. You need it 100% in this type of business because, I mean, for 6 months of the year, even though I'm home, I'm not home. I'm at the rink majority of the day. You know what I mean? And then on game days or even practice days, she knows, specifically game days, she knows she's not going to hear from me because everything's on a set schedule. For me, I like to do things on the same time every game, you know, so. And then we have morning skates. Those days are even harder because it's practice. And then immediately flipping laundry, getting everything ready for the game. So sometimes I don't even see her or talk to her until I come home and she's sleeping. It's a kiss on the forehead. And so it's difficult.
I know being around Grady Wittenberg, being around Brooks Hill, game days, like they're here at like 9 o'clock in the morning and they don't leave until 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I know your hours are sometimes even a little bit worse than that, but it happens within this business. That's just the business. That's just the way it is. You're all preparing for Friday and Saturday night.
Yep. Every single day of the week we're preparing for it. You know, we're getting stuff ready. And then it's, to me, because I like everything so perfect, it's an all day event. I mean, we vacuum this place head to toe. We wipe everything down.
Yeah, it's clean in here. I mean, we're in here right now.
I think that was mostly Aiden and Schurzy this year.
And I don't smell hockey.
No.
Right? This is a clean locker room. That's what's pretty cool about it. You can't go into a ton of arenas and have this type of cleanliness.
The locker rooms, like when we're on the road, when you walk in that next morning, it hits you in the face. It smells so like my hotel room in Jamestown when we used that one time. That was the most putrid smelling thing.
How bad did you feel for that hotel, knowing what you left it like, unfortunately?
I left the 2 windows that were there wide open, not cracked. I left them open because I was like, this is bad. Like, really bad. I cranked the heat up as high as it could go in those rooms. So,
let's talk a little bit about the 2 championships, right? So this team goes and they do really well the first year, win the championship, record is decent, team plays well. There was a little bit of drama in the locker room that I know you know about, I know about, a few people out there know about. But then this past season, it's like a perfect season. You couldn't get any better. 49 wins, only 1 overtime loss, 6 regulation losses. You only lose 1 game to Port Huron because Port Huron's getting better as a team. 100%. That organization is getting better. So you lose that 1 game, but almost a perfect season. here for Binghamton, but 2 championships. You got to see and be a part of 2 championships here. What's that like? What goes through your mind when you think about that?
I don't even know, honestly. Just forever a champion. Like, that's one thing my brother kind of always said. He's like, no matter where you go, just remember that you're walking into that place with 2 rings. Yeah. You're a champion, and most people aren't. So, and to do it at home in front of the crowd, it's everything that a kid could dream of, honestly.
So this leads me to really what people want to hear about. This past season was probably your last season with the Black Bears. You have, and it'll be announced probably as soon as this week or next week officially, but we're talking about it here, and we're going to. You're going to go play for the most evil franchise in all of the world, which is the New York Islanders, and you're actually going to be an equipment manager with the Bridgeport Islanders.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about getting back to the American Hockey League. Congratulations on joining the evil side of the NHL side of things. But how awesome is that to get back up there?
It's incredible. All the hours of being away, everything have finally paid off for what I want. You know what I mean? The benefits that I'm going to be getting for my family are just
the income.
The income.
The income is just it's better. But at the same time, you're back where you kind of started.
Yeah, it's back to that professionalism, where they told me some stories where it's not always roses on the other side. Like,
sure.
You're still going to have problems, but just being part of an NHL organization.
But you're not going to be put into handcuffs more than likely down in Lehigh Valley. No. Unless you go into a bar and do something yourself, You're not going to be put into handcuffs. This is the AHL. Yeah. This is what Binghamton knew for 40-some years.
Yeah, I mean, second best league in the world, right?
Yeah.
That's the way you got to look at it. It's just, I've worked so hard to even get this opportunity, and the fact that it's coming true. Like, I've always said it, that I wanted to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to actually say that I am part of the New York Islanders organization is mind-blowing to me to this day. Like, I can't believe it, to be honest.
Talk about some of the people that helped you get there. Obviously, we could talk about some Binghamton people, but talk about some of the people outside of Binghamton that helped you get to this. I want to say Sound Tigers, but get to the Bridgeport Islanders.
The main person is Chris Murphy. I've talked about him a couple of times, but he was the assistant here in Binghamton for the Devils. And then, everything happened. We went on our own ways, and he started working for New York Islanders. And I've just been bugging him for 2 years, like just bugging him, saying, get me out of this league. And then, unfortunately, the Danbury situation happened with the handcuffs and stuff. And that night I texted him when I got back to the hotel, and I said, I'm done. Get me out of this league. Fast forward to the Blue Ridge weekend. Bus broke down. I'm driving a U-Haul back from Virginia, and I get a text message saying that they are looking for a new assistant equipment manager, and basically he thinks I would be perfect for it. Mm-hmm. And then, next thing you know, it's actually starting to roll through the season, and next thing you know, I'm getting an offer. And, my references that I had, Scherzy's been one of the biggest supporters. He gets on me sometimes, but it's always for the better, to make me a better equipment manager and take that next step. Rod Harris, who's one of the equipment managers for Carolina, he worked for the Tampa Bay Lightning for 20 years, as the 20 or 30 years, something like that, as the visiting room attendant. And ever since he met me last year in finals, he's always said, like, you got it. Mm. And ever since then, he's been texting his friends, with Tampa Bay. Part of the reason we've gone up to Syracuse a couple times and chatted with them.
Well, not just that, there was the goalie sessions for the goalies to go up there and to be a part of that. Yeah. Binghamton is still relevant.
Yeah.
Even if it's in the Fed, Binghamton is still relevant. We still have a facility. We still have the hockey knowledge. We still have 4,300 people showing up. Binghamton is still relevant, and it's kind of helped you in a way to be able to get back there.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody knows what's going on down here in Binghamton. I went to Lehigh Valley at one point this year, just to work a game.
Yeah,
it was a Sunday game. I don't know why I went. I think it was just to kind of get my name and face out there a little bit. Where was I going? I don't remember now.
Philly, and they still remember Binghamton.
Oh, as soon as I walked in, they knew exactly what was happening up here about our record. Like we just came off like the 18-game win streak. Like people in the AHL, maybe even higher, know what's happening here in Binghamton with the 2 championships and the culture that we've created down here. And it's just the Federal Prospects Hockey League. You know what I mean? But they're seeing that we're bringing in the crowds and kind of wondering how we're doing it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think part of it is, there is a culture here with the fan engagement. You've seen this. Obviously, you're stuck in that room over there after games, sometimes in this room cleaning up things. The players going out there and talking to those fans like they do. The fans treat them like rock stars.
Even me. I mean, people asking me for autographs and stuff, that's crazy. I love it, but I'm just the equipment.
It's weird,
I'm
right?
just the equipment.
Listen, I'm the podcaster, and I was getting asked at the celebration. The first celebration, I hid. I literally hid inside the glass area, and then I went out to go see Steve McAnanima, obviously Connor's dad. We've become friends. I went out to go see him, and then people started coming up and asking for my autograph, take a picture. Miguel and his wife, they were the sweetest things, coming up and asking me for Katie. How could I forget Katy Perry? It's great. It's a great name that she has. But and then the second one, they did the same thing. And then Taylor, who's now my co-host, she'd only done one show, and someone came up and asked for her autograph. These fans are rabid. I don't know if you're going to experience rabid fans like this anywhere else. Nothing against Bridgeport, nothing against Hershey. There is a weird culture that started with the Dusters that has traveled along, and there's generations and generations of these fans, right? And some of these new fans, their fathers and their grandfathers or grandmas and their father and their moms were Ranger fans, or they were Whaler fans, or they were Duster fans. I don't know if you're going to experience that kind of fandom anywhere else. Probably
not. I mean, when you get up to the AHL and stuff like that, the equipment guys are kind of nobody. Nobody cares to know who they are and stuff. You know what I mean? We just do our job, and nobody really sees us and stuff. So that's why it's so mind-blowing sometimes. Like, even when I walk out there and everyone's screaming my name, or I'm walking across the ice and everyone's yelling at me and stuff, it's incredible. And being a hometown boy, it's everything I've dreamed of,
So I have to ask you before I let you go. You were in handcuffs in Danbury this past season. We need to really sit down and write a book about your 2 years as the equipment manager here in the Fed. Jamestown, hotel room that you guys trashed. You specifically because of the equipment. Danbury, you're getting put into handcuffs. You have stories to go and tell. Like, even AHL players, you're going to go up there and you're going to befriend some of these guys, and you're going to have some of these stories to tell them. That's what I kind of was alluding to earlier. Like, these stories I'm going to have for the rest of my life. Just, I don't want to say horror stories, but there's some of them, it just makes you scratch your head just going like, that's pro hockey. You know what I mean? So I'm so excited at this opportunity, and I just couldn't be happier. I go down to the NHL training camp here in September, so I'll be down in Long Island, and I couldn't be happier about it. Okay, this is where we tie back into what we talked about before. Family. Yep. Okay. Just had a baby girl. Yep. Right? And she's the cutest can be. Everybody loves her. But you're going to have to go away for a while to do your job. And they're not coming with you, at least this year. Yep. Talk a little bit about that. Yeah, I mean, you've talked about it before. I think the last couple episodes I've heard you mention Bridgeport a couple times, but it's expensive to live there. Yeah. It's incredibly expensive. And even the players that are playing up there, unless they're making $1 million or something, it's tough for them to live there. Yeah, it's very tough. We've looked and we've tried to figure out a way that we can do it, but owning a house here in Binghamton, it just doesn't add up. It's cheaper for me to go down by myself and still pay the bills here and just live with the other staff members
the cheapest I possibly can. You know what I mean? I mean, we get treated very well down there from what I've been told. So I don't have to worry about some things, you know, like food and stuff. Like I've been told they provide a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, going away, it's going to be hard. I mean, they're going to come down and visit as much as they can, but still just being 4 hours away, 3.5 hours away, not seeing them that often, it's going to take a toll on me, and it's going to be pretty tough, but it's something that I have to do for my family. And, you know, hopefully next year we could do it together, you know what I mean? But as of right now, and being family so close here in Binghamton, that, yeah, I'm going alone.
Okay, so what's the one thing outside of your family? Let's take Baby Tatum out of the way. Let's take Darren out of the way. What is the thing that you're going to miss the most about Binghamton?
This arena.
Really? Why? This is a dump. Come on. We all know it's a dump. It's 50-some years old. What are you going to miss about this arena?
It's my home. I grew up here, you know. I spent a couple years with the Devils in this locker room. We won 2 championships in here. It's forever going to be my home, and not seeing this crowd every night is going to be a little bittersweet, you know. I'm definitely going to miss it, but I'm going to catch as many games as I possibly can. You're
living your dream.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
I remember in 2012 when I got to interview Coach Kurt Kleinendorst, and he didn't want to do it anywhere but in his office. It was the first time I got to go in the office. And it was like the coolest thing. And none of the TV guys, none of the beat writers, nobody got to go in his office. Mm-hmm. He picked me to be that guy to be able to go in the office and sit down and have that conversation with him. Like, this is my home, too. Yeah. It feels like it. You know, when I was a kid, skating on that ice, just being around this whole place, seeing the improvements, everything that's been done to this place, it feels like a second home, and I've always said that.
Yeah, it's definitely a second home. Like, the last 2 years, I've spent more time probably in this arena, in this locker room, than I have at my actual house. You know, it's a joke. My fiance always jokes with me that I shower more here than I do actually at home, but it's just.
But I hear the showers are nice here.
Best showers in the world. You can ask anybody in here; they'll tell you the same thing. But it's just, you know, I'm always here, so yeah, I'm gonna miss this place. You know, the big logo in the locker room, the lights, all the boys. You know, they're my best friends. I'm gonna see them and I'm gonna talk to them, but not seeing them every day is gonna be. It make like at the celebration, I already kind of knew that this was this was happening. Mm-hmm. And when Sherwood said, like, let's run it back for the third one, and Gavin said it and all these other people, I was like, should I? Like, deep down, a part of me wants, you know what I mean? Like,
I will go for a 3.
Yeah.
Do you think this team can go for 3?
100%.
100%.
100%.
With all the signings, a lot of the returners are coming back. I know a couple big names this week as well.
Yeah.
You think they can definitely make it all the way back?
100%. It's the same group of core coming back. Doesn't matter what new guys come into this locker room. Sherwood's going to make sure that they're on the same page with everybody. You know, Aiden's going to do a great job taking care of these guys. He knows what they expect. So I don't see much changing, to be honest with you. I think they're going to be just as good. See if they get 50 this year. I know Shirzy wants 50, so we'll see if they can get it.
I made the joke last year because we hit 39. I asked him about 39. He said, I like even numbers. We got to go to 40. So he does another even 10 to get to 49. And then I, of course, made the joke about, you know, because the way I have to present things, I have to say there's no way they can repeat it. Last year, they didn't just repeat; they did exponentially better, right? And now they have to go for that again. And the joke is, can they get 50? Well, with Port Huron being better than they ever were, you know, Carolina's going to be out for blood. Even though I hear a couple of guys aren't coming back, you know, possibly even Great Mario might not come back to the team. So, you know, Athens lost Steve Martinson, right? So he went to the ECHL. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. Watertown, I think, is going to be a shell of what they used to be. Mm-hmm. You know, Trevor Lord just, you know, asked for a trade. He's gone. I don't see how they can be good, and we got to play them 16 times. Right. So I guess there's that possibility, but it's hard for me to sit there and definitively go, yes, they can do it. Right. But you have that confidence in these guys.
100%. I think just same as this year. If they don't win, it's, you know, that's what's on everybody's mind, is going for that third. yes, the league's getting better. Could the 50 wins? That's tough. Like, obviously, we're going to sit here and say, yeah, they're going to win 50 games. But, like, let's be real. It's 49 wins is out of 56 games. It's unheard of. Like, that doesn't happen, right? Yeah. So in order to get to that 50, they're going to have to do some work for it. But, like, I think they can do it, and I 100% think they can win another championship.
Dylan, before I let you go, are we going to still see videos out of you? Is your social media still going to be filled with some videos from Bridgeport, or do you know if maybe you can't do stuff like that?
I don't know. I've never thought about it, to be honest. The whole point of those videos was honestly for this reason. I was hoping somebody big time would just see like what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So
it was good for the team, but it was also very good for you to do that. I like to
do it for the team, obviously. Like, I love these guys. This job is my passion. I couldn't picture myself really doing anything else. So, but at the end of the day, it was for me. You know what I mean? I was hoping somebody would see it and they'd be like, wow, like, this kid, he sets the room up better than me and I'm in the NHL. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was hoping for. So.
All right, awesome. Dylan, I'm going to miss you.
Thank you.
I'm seriously going to miss you. Some of the stuff that I've gotten for the show or just even for the Facebook group has been because of you. So now I got to get Aiden's number. I got to get Aiden's number in my contact list, because I got to be honest with you, if you really want to know the dirt about a team, talk to the equipment manager. Yeah, but thank you so much for everything over these last couple of years. Congratulations. There's a lot of us in this Binghamton hockey world that have said, this is what we wanted. We wanted you back in the American Hockey League. Yep. And I'm glad you didn't have to go to the SP or the ECHL to get there. You were going there because you deserve it. And there's a lot of people that know that.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's what a little more mind-blowing to me is that I'm kind of skipping the SPHL, the ECHL, but that's just because Binghamton's in the Federal Prospects Hockey League doesn't say what actually is going on here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't want to say we're bigger than that, but like
the culture is different.
It's different.
We're a model.
This is a pro organization.
Yeah.
So that was always my gimmick. It's like, why go to the SP when I could just stay here in Binghamton where I think we're better?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in my opinion, on my resume, the Binghamton Black Bears don't look like an FPHL team. It looks like an ECHL team, in my opinion.
Right.
So jumping those leagues is a little crazy, but I'm ready for it. And it's all, like you said, it's all the people that I've met throughout the years, and they're just like, yeah, like, it is the Fed, but like, this kid is the next young thing. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And hopefully you and I maybe can do a phone interview in the future, get you back on the show, talk a little bit about your time up in Bridgeport and how everything's going and how much you miss us down here.
I'm going to miss it.
When our record is like 35, 2-1, and the Bridgeport Islanders are like, I don't know, 10, 15, and 3.
That's kind of the joke that they've told me. They're the head guy that I'm going to be working with. He's like, we get long summers down here. He joked with me last Saturday. I went down there and he was like, I've been off since August. And I was like, I was still playing. And I'm like, so.
Oh, that's awesome. So, he is Dylan Konecny. Again, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. I love everything about you.
Yep. Thank you. I'm going to miss this place, and you guys will see me around. I'll be around. I'm going to catch a couple games, as many as I can. So.
Awesome. And we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
You're listening to the Power Play Post Show. Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. I'm really, really, really excited to have this person on with me. She comes to us from the Booster Club. That's right, the Binghamton Hockey Booster Club, which obviously does a lot of great work for the Binghamton Black Bears. We'll talk to her about a lot of different things that has to do with the upcoming second annual Golf with the Players tournament. And I'm really excited to have on here somebody who I've known for a very long time, Laurie-Ann Platt. Laurie, LA, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on.
Thanks, Bobby. I'm excited to be on with you today.
So let's talk a little bit about you for a second. I know that you've been obviously a hockey fan and been in Binghamton going to the games for a very long time, but tell us when it started for you.
So a very long time. I actually started going to the Broom Dusters when I was 2.
Wow.
So it's basically my entire life. I have spent winters in the arena.
Now, who took you? Like, because I know that you're there with some family members a lot of times, at least since I've known you, but who was the first person that took you to the games?
So it was actually a family affair. So I would credit my uncle, I guess. And he got the whole family to go. So we used to have 6 seats. It was my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, myself, my uncle, and one of his good friends from work.
Always sitting on that end behind where our goalies defend each time or twice in a game. Has it always been in like section 8, section 9, right in that section?
Yep. We started out in 7. And when they made some of the remodels to the arena, we ended up in 8.
Gotcha.
But yep, always on that end.
So you've never known life without hockey, so to speak.
I really haven't.
Except for probably the COVID year, because that was a rough year. Another rough year for everyone.
Yes, that was a rough year for everyone.
Especially hockey-wise here in Binghamton, as the Devils moved the team down to New Jersey and played there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how long have you been a part of the Booster Club?
So I would say probably for about 20 years.
Wow. So back into the Sun days.
Back into the Sundays, was always active in some way. And I've probably been on the board for about, probably 10 years or so. Now,
what was funny was last year I was talking to you. You were at one of the tables, and I honestly thought you were the president of the Booster Club. But you're not. You're the treasurer, right?
I am the secretary.
Secretary. Oh, I apologize.
Yes.
I knew I would
Don't put me in charge of the money.
I knew I'd get that wrong. What does the secretary do for the Booster Club? Because it seems like it's a lot more than what people might think a secretary does, I guess.
So I guess the role itself, take minutes at the meetings, make sure that everyone kind of is engaged in that way. Also keep track of membership. I say welcome people to the meetings and signing in, making sure we have quorums and the right numbers and all of that. Those are the duties of the actual position, but then we all take on extra tasks as needed. And I like to plan events, so I become the event coordinator with a strong team around me.
Tell me what the Booster Club does for the hockey players, or at least tell the fans who may not know, because maybe some people are interested in joining the Booster Club, but what does the Booster Club truly do for Binghamton hockey?
So we try to support it in any way that we can. We not only support the pro team that's here, but also local teams. So STHA, we partner with them. When we do our 50-50 at every game, the STHA is the recipient of 25% of, so they get a portion of it. Mm-hmm. We get a portion of it, and of course the winner. So we support that way. How we're supporting the Black Bears, we really try to do whatever we can for them. So if they have some needs at their apartments, we have a lot of gracious and generous members that are donating furniture or household goods. We put together bus snacks for them, breakfast for them. We give them what we call focus pay so that they can really focus on their job, which is playing hockey here for us to all watch and enjoy. But they don't necessarily make the same funds as some of the teams that have been here in the past. So we help provide them with a little focus pay to help them, get to and from the rink. Whitney Point isn't, just across the street. So we try to help them out that way too. We give them welcome bags when they come into town so they know the area. I'm sorry about my dog. We give them welcome bags so they can get to know the area, know some things, some fun things there are to do, places to go. We have generous community members and businesses too that will help us with that.
So the Booster Club definitely has changed a little bit since the Black Bears have come in, because the pay is different than when the AHL was here. Of course, when the Sens and the Devils were here, those guys are the pay is just a little bit different. So the focus of the Booster Club probably has changed a little bit in the last couple of years.
Yes, I would say that true and is true. And the first year was probably our get to know each other year, where we didn't really know what they needed from us and how we could best support them. So yeah, we support them with some more of the basics in terms of food, household supplies, the focus pay. Those are things that when the AHL teams were here, that wasn't something that was really necessary. But now that is something that we can do for them that I think is very well received. And the feedback is that the team really appreciates that.
And it's probably more important now than ever to have a strong booster club. I know that in the AHL days, there was always a very strong membership group for the booster club. Is the membership group still very strong as we're talking today?
Yep, I would definitely say so. And it has grown over the years that the Black Bears have been here. So we have about 154, 165 members from season to season. And, they turn out in numbers when the guys are on the road and follow them around. Yeah, so it's been great.
Oh, yeah. We've never seen any video or pictures of you guys in Watertown or in Danbury. There's so many fans that show up, and I know a majority of them are Booster Club members. It's crazy. But this is the way Binghamton hockey's always been, right? I mean, we've had our ebbs and flows, highs and lows when it comes to attendance, but Binghamton hockey has always been a very strong supporter of the hockey teams that have been here. The Binghamton hockey fans have probably been some of the best fans, probably in the world of minor pro hockey for the past 50 years, easily.
Yeah, I would say so. We have at times had one or two buses go to where the teams have been playing out of town and supporting them. Taking over the arenas in some cases with the Black Bears, where there's more green and white than there are the opposing team's colors. So it's very fun to be there for them.
Let's talk a little bit about the second annual Golf with the Players tournament. Why did the Booster Club decide to, put together, a golf tournament for the players?
It was kind of a joint effort in, dreaming up what we would do in terms of the golf tournament, because it's something that we used to do, like you said. So some people missed that. Also looking for a way for the team itself to be able to bond when they're just starting the season. And this allows for that. And it also allows for the team members or the hockey players to actually interact with some of their most faithful fans. So it just gets them accustomed to the area and is a really great, fun way for them to kick off the season.
Yeah, and it's going to be at Enwell Greens. It's my favorite golf course in Binghamton, or at least in Broome County. In Tioga County, it's the Tioga Country Club. I know a lot of the players that are on the team, like Gavin Yates and Kyle Steffen, when he was here last year. I told them guys many times, you got to get out to Tioga Country Club. It's a great place to play. But Enwell Greens is my favorite in Broome County, without a doubt. It's beautiful scenery when you're out there golfing. It's really good. Entry fee is $500. What does the captain and the crew get for $500? So
this year they are getting, the full round of golf and cart. They will get dinner at the end of the tournament. They will also get lunch at the turn. Everyone goes away with a door prize, and we also have a player gift for everyone. So I think it's a nice package for everybody.
Wait, a player gift? Do you get one of the players as a gift? That's pretty awesome. I mean, I got to be honest with you, that's a pretty good gift right there.
No, I do not have the authority to make that happen. So
no, okay, fair enough. Last year's tournament was a success. How'd it go?
It was a success. Yeah, we were able to, I'll say, raise some funds that allowed us to be able to do a lot of the things for the players through the course of the year. It was smaller because it was the first year. But yeah, it was a success. I really think the team enjoyed it a lot. I know that Brant was very appreciative of it. And he and I work on the teams where they have 3 teams that are players only. Right. And then all the other players get to pair up with a team.
That's very cool. Yeah. Now I see that at 9 a.m. it's a shotgun start. Will you be firing that shotgun?
I think it's a proverbial shotgun. I don't know if we're really going to shoot a shotgun, but I could.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple places you have to aim the gun because in the middle where Enwell Greens is, there's a couple residential homes, but I guess it could be done. I just saw that and I figured, well, maybe Laurie-Ann's taking that shot.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
How much planning does it take to put something like this together?
So actually, the planning committee has been meeting all summer. So probably every 2 to 3 weeks since June, just reviewing who's contacting what businesses, who has supported us already so that we're not double asking, and, trying to find out who has a contact somewhere. And so it's a long-term event.
And you guys actually had a meeting tonight, right?
We did. Yes, we did.
Yeah, as we're recording this here on Monday night for everybody. If people want to get in contact with you or the Booster Club to figure out how to get involved with this, how can they do so?
So I would say our email address is probably the easiest, and that is binghockey.bc@gmail.com.
Perfect. LA, I was kind of like creeping on your Facebook profile, and I noticed that in 2022 you were season ticket holder of the year for the Rumble Ponies. Now, if I remember correctly, if I go back to 2012, weren't you fan of the year for the Binghamton Senators as well?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, she doesn't want to talk about it, but I'm going to make her talk about it anyways. because in 2011, you were probably the most famous fan that year because you traveled all the way to Houston for the Calder Cup finals games. I know there were a couple other people, but I think you were the person that was known very well. I know awards don't matter. It's not about that. How important has it been for you? I mean, I kind of understand, I've been doing the show for a very long time, and Binghamton hockey is very important to me. BinghamtonHockey.net is something that I've worked on for a long time. But how important has it been for you to kind of give back to sometimes these teams and to support them as well as you have? Because you've obviously been recognized for that, whether it's the Rumble Ponies or whether it's the Binghamton Senators, and now obviously giving back by doing some of the work that you've done here. How important is that to you?
It's very important to me. I have got a lot of enjoyment out of the local sports teams. It's been a family affair, and it's where I've had a lot of bonding time with my family. It's pretty special. And the players give to us, too, by putting on a good show or being present at a Booster Club meeting. So it's important for me to give back, but it's been very special to me.
And if fans are interested and want to join the Booster Club, one of the really cool perks that I remember always happening, and I think it still does with you guys now, is that players show up to the meetings and you get to talk to them and ask them questions, correct?
Yes, we have a meeting every month, unless we're doing a special event, because sometimes we'll do member-only dinners with the players, but that only happens twice a year. But every month there's a membership meeting, and yes, we will get anywhere from 6 to 8 players. They come, they sit at the tables with the members, talk to them through the meeting, but also during the meeting. The highlight of the meeting, I would say, is that the players answer questions from the floor, from the membership, and then they are so incredibly gracious with their time after the meeting and stay and talk to all of the members and answer all their questions, take pictures, autograph. They're really super.
I know one of the fun things that, I'm a big Christmas guy. I love Christmas. We decorate like crazy. I know I've seen some really great pictures come out of the Booster Club meeting right around Christmas time. Guys wearing ugly sweaters, even though I don't think they're ugly. It's like they call them ugly sweaters, but I don't think they're ugly. It's just really kind of fun stuff like that. So what does it take to become a member of the Binghamton Hockey Booster Club?
So our membership fee is $20, and that is for this season. That gets you, I'll say, admission to the membership meetings, and then the opportunity to join us at any member-only events. You can join at any of those membership meetings or at any home game at the Booster Club table behind Section 4. I
was going to say it's going to be behind Section 4. I do know that. Yes. You guys also run the 50-50, right? That's a pretty awesome event. It's one that I've noticed that even when I've gone to other hockey arenas, even in higher levels, you guys do so good with the 50-50. Like I see numbers I don't see at other barns where there is a bigger attendance. That's pretty impressive. Do you guys have like Sharks or somebody selling those 50-50 tickets? I mean, because whoever's doing it is obviously, should be in Vegas or something.
We have very dedicated members that are selling those tickets, probably getting blisters, ripping all those tickets in preparation and then again at the game. So it is very, very, very good.
Yeah. And you guys,
it's fun.
Yes. And you guys also run the Chuckle Puck too, right?
We do not. That is an STHA function.
Oh, my apologies. See, this is why I had to have you on, clear up all this misinformation that was in my head rattling around, basically.
I'm happy to help you.
LA, if someone still wants to be a part of the second annual Golf with the Players tournament, when is the deadline and what do they have to do again?
So we are trying to get all of our teams secured by September 12th. They can reach out to the email address, Bing Hockey BC, so Binghamton Hockey Booster Club, but binghockeybc@gmail.com. Ask questions. We can get them the forms that they need to fill out just to secure their spot.
Okay. Now, during this interview, we heard your little doggy barking and talking with us, really. What is her name?
Her name is Rebel.
Rebel. And why haven't we had a bring your dog to the hockey game yet? I've seen it in other arenas. How come we haven't seen Rebel at the Rebel? I like that name. It's a good name, by the way. Why haven't we seen like a bring the dog to work day or to the hockey game day yet in Binghamton?
That's a very good question. I was at a rink where they had bring your dog to the hockey game.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that she is an honorary mascot of the Booster Club. So sometimes at meetings, she makes an appearance.
Did she talk this much there like she did today for our interview?
She hasn't. I think she's finding her voice, though. So she's only 1. She just turned 1.
Oh, wow.
So she's just finding her voice.
That's fair. I actually have had cats who take 9 years to find their voice. And then you're like, why did you find your voice? What happened? You were quiet for 9 years. And then all of a sudden they find their voice. LA, it's always a pleasure to see you, to talk to you. Thank you very much for coming on. I wish you guys nothing but the best. The second annual Golf with the Players Tournament. It's October 4th. It is a Saturday. It's at NWell Greens Golf Club, one of the best golf places. So if you're a golfer and you're listening to this, please reach out to them at binghockeybc@gmail.com. LA, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you so much.
And we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. That was Laurie-Ann Platt. Before that was Dylan Konecny. Congratulations to Dylan. Good luck to the Booster Club in a few weeks as they do the tournament, the golf tournament, to help raise funds, to help take care of the Binghamton Black Bear players, just to help support them and make sure that they have everything that they need. I got a great show kind of starting to formulate for next week. We'll see how that goes. I know in a couple weeks we're going to be talking with Brooks Hill. I spoke to him a little bit earlier on today. I want to thank Dylan for trusting me in doing this interview. It's always kind of fun to be able to help break news like that for somebody who has cared and shown so much love for what we do here with the Power Play Post Show. Dylan loves it. I hope Dylan continues to listen to the Power Play Post Show, even when he's out in Bridgeport and, taking care of those boys out there. And I know he's going to do a great job out there. Make sure that if you really want to get involved with the Booster Club, that you go and, sign up, become a member. As Laurie-Ann said, $20 a year. I mean, come on. That's great. And then there's a lot of great things that you can be a part of when it comes to the Booster Club. And also make sure, check out all of the socials, especially for the Booster Club, if you want to be a part of the golf tournament that they're going to be hosting here, which all the proceeds will go to helping the Binghamton Black Bears players. All right. The Power Play Post Show is on The Power Play Post Show. Let me try that again. The Power Play Post Show is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever is your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search for Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Be sure to like, comment, and share our latest episodes with your friends. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Just visit binghamtonhockey.net, your go-to source for stats, history, and all things Binghamton Hockey. Thank you to Rob Lepolis, our MC, John Petitucci, our musical director, and from the Binghamton Hockey Booster Club, Laurie-Ann Platt, plus our good friend Dylan Konecny. I'm Bob Howard for Taylor Welch. We'll talk to you next time right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Petitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.